Welcome to another episode.
The Modern Black Man Podcast
Is back, and I got the homie Doug with me. We're gonna talk about a few things, and we'll be with the weekend. But I want to talk about leadership. I want to talk about what it is to really get people behind you and to make effective change. What it is to have people riding, supporting, relying, and wanting you to be right. That's what I want to talk about.
I heard you. I don't know if you was expecting me to respond to that. I thought you had something to go.
I did expect you to respond. I want to talk about those things because I think that's what we experience in this life. We experience the crunch time. I think that we both have college education, life experience, perseverance, triumph over adversity, and a patriotic undertone to a Christ-driven life that's propelled forward by services to others. I think we need to share that motivation with other people. I think that this country as a whole, we are behind because we don't delve in to success. And I want to talk about it.
Why do you think that as a country we delve into success? Because I was saying like that it almost seems like the exact opposite of a value to not delve into success.
Which is why I like talking to you, unlike anyone else, because America isn't doing what America has done. Our numbers are slipping, and I think that if we weren't America, it would be a cause for concern. Um, this might get you to bite. Afghanistan. Should we have a military base there?
We should have a military base anywhere we want to.
Okay. Anywhere we want to. I say this because American interest, if they're not being served, they're being served less. And I think that our country would be grateful for that.
Yeah, so I think it was I think it was a very dumb, obviously extremely unstrategic move to move out of Afghanistan, considering how close it was to China. Um, Considering how close it was to the rest of the Middle East, considering how fast we could mobilize if we wanted to help Israel in this moment, rather than utilizing the most expensive ship that we have in our arsenal. But hey, who am I to complain? I'm just a guy that.
That's my best friend. That's my dog. Look, strategically, it is a position that we needed in Asia. We ain't got it. So moving forward, why aren't we serving the beloved communities of this country?
Well, it depends on who the person that you're asking considers beloved.
I know. And that's really the problem. I love how you get right to it.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, as far as American leadership is concerned in today's date, we are. Because, I mean, those that are in charge right now care about things that don't matter, like immigrants. They don't necessarily matter. They have no, they don't help the taxpayer out. So I don't know why they matter to me at all.
I mean, everybody's concerned about
so much,
immigrants.
People define their sex. That doesn't help out the taxpayer, so it doesn't help me at all. We spend a lot of time doing things for the beloved, but
Come on, like, you can do better than that. Please give me more.
I'm just saying. I mean, I think that we as a country, if we are mistaken, we're mistaken of what an actual American value looks like.
Unfortunately, I think that's very, very.
Yeah, we've gotten to the point where people are more concerned with what people say to them, or how they say it to them, or
that's become morality.
I mean, yeah, we're not really concerned at all about the American values that I grew up, aspiring to.
But how you make people feel has become morality. And I think that this problem is what I have with reality. I think that sometimes we have to persevere, we have to live in triumph over fear. I think that getting acquainted with reality is the cure. How do we begin that process?
I would say, if I was to be honest, I would say expel 95% of college professors and start over.
That's a bold move. But you think that that would be the beginning, a genesis to a solution?
Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, the 90, not 90, 95, 90% of our the idiots in our country right now are ingesting things that they are learning in colleges. They're not ingesting knowledge, they're ingesting ideals. Um, so I mean,
Mm,
that's a waste of taxpayer dollars, if you ask me. It's a waste of mommy and daddy's money, if you ask me, and it's definitely a waste of workspace because they're out there trying to find positions that don't exist. Like nobody cares how much you know about Black history. Like nobody truly cares. Like it's good to know about Black history, but it's not going to solve any problems in the economy.
you make a lot of really interesting and provoking points.
Well, that's why I said you won't like what I'm gonna say.
I ain't say that. I ain't say that. I
No, I'm
mean,
just
I
saying
think
that.
that everything is falling apart because economics isn't practical. I think that's the first straw. The fact that finance is probably dominant over business. What are you financing if there are no businesses? And if the whole backbone of the new American economy, the no longer colonial agrarian economy, uh, who's financing it? Is my thing. Like, wouldn't this be in demand? But it's not, because in reality, I think everything is shrinking rapidly, and we don't know about it. Let me take a bigger tangent. I invested in, I'm not going to tell you which one, but a Richard Branson company that went under recently. You could probably put it together and guess what it is. But I had a lot of faith in it because he really is one of the last ingenuitive, original, and free thinking minds in business. That's how he made billions for 6 or more decades. But he screwed me, and I'm not mad at him, and I don't hold animosity. I just bring this to show that ingenuity, innovation, originality, creativity, they're gone for the most part. Like computers kind of ruin things. Now we have artificial intelligence. Let me go on another tangent. That's so stupid. Why can't we just have art intelligence? Why can't we just have intelligence? Why can't we just have like creation instead of trying to have computers do it, right? Why are we outpacing people? Why are we moving over people? Because we're dull and we're boring. I'm not really taking sides. I'm just throwing out the thought that we don't celebrate Stephen King, Maya Angelou, Terry McMillan, individual talent. That was a lot. That was a lot. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I think the overall reason why AI is so, let's say, eye catching to those that are that dove into to the extent they did is because they want to be God, and it's impossible to make another human being. So hey, let's go with the next best thing. Um, but when it comes to people like Stephen King and Maya Angelou, I mean, with all respect, I've never read one of any of their books. Um, I mean, so I mean, them sinking or swimming doesn't means nothing to me, and I'm just being 100 about it. I mean,
And that's
I
what it is. It's 1,000. It is what it is.
I mean, I honestly would be more afraid of Jeff Bezos going under than anybody.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos,
not I mean,
Yeah,
I don't live.
Bill
I mean,
Gates,
anything that Elon Musk does that benefits me at all.
Warren
Um,
Buffett. Is it Robert Smith?
I
Like,
mean, we're just throwing out a bunch of billionaire names. I'm just saying things that, as me as a consumer, I mean, if it doesn't benefit me, I don't necessarily care whether it sinks or swim, is what I'm saying. And I think that we as Americans need to remember that it's the consumer that's in charge and not necessarily my feelings of any situation. Because quite honestly, Walmart doesn't look like Walmart like when we were kids. When we were kids, Walmart was like, wow, you mean to tell me like there's a whole bunch of these stores around the world? But I mean now you go into Walmart and you just like, they ain't got nothing I want. Let me go. Right. And
I
then the
talked to
first,
a young person about Walmart today, and I had to educate them that Walmart used to be competitive. Walmart used to be cheaper than everyone else. Walmart used to be quality. Now it's the dollar store, and we endorse it.
hmm yeah, I mean, you kind of need Amazon at this point.
Yeah, that was
We're,
the point I
we're
made.
yeah,
Target used to be the safe haven we call Amazon.
well, yeah, Target used to be what I would say. I'm going to Target before I'm going to Walmart, right? But
Yeah.
now I wouldn't step into a Target if you paid me to. So, you know,
Okay. That's mostly moralistic, hopefully, but that's so true because they all have gone to trash. They've all fallen apart. They're all less than, and I think that's a very true statement.
my thing is if it's not about business, but it's about ideals, then I might not want to hear what you have to say.
Mm.
Essentially, I and when I think of a store like when I was growing up, there was a grocery store. I don't know if they're still around anymore. They're called Food for Less. I mean, obviously, when you
I
walk into
remember less.
that grocery store versus walking into Ralph's, you know that you can save $20 on at this grocery store versus going to Ralph's and spending all of the money you have today. However,
I
now
can relate to that. I can relate.
yeah, when you really think about like places like Target and Walmart, which were uh, very
Bougie.
similar in what they had. Um, However, Target, more felt like a upper class Walmart, as years went by. But now, like I said, they're not about business; they're more about the ideals of a minority. And I'm glad that that minority found somewhere for them to shop. So now that I don't have to see them too often because I don't never go to Target. So,
That's a power say because that may be true. The safe haven for many communities may be the Target store. That's something that may be proven in the next 20 years. I think that it's not tragic, interesting that we no longer have that singular source, that monopoly of a standard. There's several standards now.
mm. I don't know. I don't know if it's several. I think it's two. I think I only think of two. And what's the name of that one job search engine that you can apply for jobs on?
Monster.com, Career Builder, Indeed.
Indeed, Indeed. Okay, so I mean, me personally, I would have went to Indeed before I went to anyone else real fast, right? And
Mhm.
then one day I looked up and noticed that they changed their logo for the same ideation, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't need to deal with y'all neither. I mean, I don't know. I'm one of the people that have a clear understanding that I do
I don't know the word for somebody that can't get with rainbows, but
I'm huh?
I don't know the word for someone that can't get with rainbows, but continue.
Well, I mean, I'm what you would call someone that I mean, I refuse to be told what to do. Right? I will follow the law,
Mm.
but I'm not going to follow your ideals if you're not going to follow mine. Right? And since me and your ideals can totally, clash, it's better that we just stay out each other's way. Because I mean, I currently live in a country where they're pandering to this one ideal, and they totally forget about the fact that the rest of us will just take our money elsewhere.
I might have an interesting thought. I think that that's so true. And I just try not to have no smoke with nobody. So it's like, we might have different ideals, but I still want to be able to, mm, I still want to be able to respect all communities. But you're right. It's about respecting, but I think we can identify what's right, right? But
Yeah,
we're not in that time. We are we are in a time where the centerpiece, the showpiece, the prize, yikes, is all the stuff that disturb you. Unfortunately, that is what time it is today. 2023 is absolutely that time, and I don't know how to fully digest that because you have a better and more conscientious mind as you observe all of the mistakes we make in today's culture, holding yourself accountable, and as a man leading, not wanting to feed into and indulge these things. It feels like a helplessness as you can't control or move the pieces on the board. I can certainly relate to this. I know that going to Atlanta upsets me because the way that they display, observe, and perceive men.
right.
But
Yeah, I was told that that a good amount of ATL men were hopping back and forth over fences. So it's
I mean, it just makes me upset when I go to the mall and they have like a section and it's like glittery jackets and like, like stuff I would not want to, I wouldn't want myself or my son to wear. But it's not a judgment, it's just an observation that it makes me uncomfortable because I don't think that we observe the best judgment because there's a control mechanism, specifically and especially in this country, where those men and men like me are controlled. And we are two separate men. We are two separate beings. The fact that these men are really celebrated right now concern me because I don't feel it's fair that men like me are regulated for mundane and legal things. But I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm just saying we are in a time where the preference is for men to be out of control, for men to be less than leaders.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. All right, and you know me. I'm able to take any situation and revert it to the lowest possible common denominator,
Right.
which is sin.
That's it. That's what's responsible for everything.
Well, no, 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 no. Give me a little latitude. In my mind, there are plenty of things right now that I would love to be doing.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
However, I mean, it's just turned 4 o'clock here in Alaska, so I literally just got off. Right. And like I said, I can think of plenty of things I would like to be doing. However, when you get to a certain age in life, you have to tell yourself no. You have to attempt to curtail your own thoughts and your own beliefs to reality, right? The reality is that you got an 8-hour shift that you're going to have to commit to, or you're not going to get paid, and you're only going to lose your job, right? Now that's just me talking about me working. But if I was talking about living life, I heard a comedian even say, and I love comedians because they're quick to tell you the truth, and you don't necessarily know that they're talking about you sometimes. But fact of the matter, a person, a woman, she's looking for a specific type of man, and that specific type of man is all over the place. However, okay, so let me be a little bit more specific. If she's looking for a leader, you're not going to find that leader at the club, right? And the reason you're not going to find that leader to at a club is because, and I wouldn't say all men that are leaders don't go to clubs. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to
No,
give you
I
just
agree.
I just want to paint a picture of, just a place where you go to spend no
Let
time.
me let me
Nothing.
further your point. You whores aren't gonna meet a good quality man at the club, but he will definitely meet you there. And I say that with emphasis because we need to have more conversations based upon and in the realm of reality. Please continue, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that if a woman is looking for a man that is going to lead her life in the right direction, um, it's not necessarily the where that she should be looking for. It's the what. You know what I mean? If she's tying herself to things that he can lose in his life, like money, then she's going to find herself upset in the long run.
That's right.
However, if she's finding a man that has spent more time learning than he has, you know, let's say playing a dozen, or trying to figure out how to win.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I hate that type of guy. And I mean, I hope I hope somebody that hears me has said it more than 5 times this week, because this is who I'm talking to. If you're that guy out there that I'm just trying to win, I'm just trying to get to the bag, kill yourself, bro. Like, get out of the way. Because I mean, there's far too many, you know, let's just say, women in this world that deserve a good man,
there we go.
somebody that is simply just trying to get to the bag. All right,
But
because
those men aren't real though. They just say that because they're hollow inside. They don't have anything else.
but doesn't that further my point? Because
Yeah.
she found him at the club, didn't she? She found him popping bottles. She found him spending money on absolutely nothing, right? Because he's going to throw that up later. But the fact of the matter is, people get to see him popping bottles, and the first thing he thinks is, because people see me doing that, I'm winning. Like,
Right.
you're a fool. You're a
Right.
fool. And I mean, I say that no, with no grudge in my heart. I mean that from the pit of my soul, that you are a fool if you are chasing money, because you
If
can
we
lose.
only made it cool to invest money and we only made it cool to talk about what happens when you can get a stack and turn it into 10 in real life, like through things like the stock market, it would, I think everything would change. I don't think violence would end, but if it were that easy, if people could scrape together nickels and pennies and dollars and really see effective change through their concerted efforts, I think that not only poverty but violence would they would end.
I will be honest with you, bro. I've been married for 16 years, and the times where I know for a fact that I've least impressed my wife is when I bought something or spent money. Those are the
Yeah,
times where I fact that I least impressed her,
amen.
because quite honestly, she's more concerned with the fact that I handle business, right?
Mhm.
Concerned with the fact that I actually made it to work on time, and that I'm not getting fired, and that I'm doing the right thing by my boss so he doesn't have it out for me, and that I'm, what I'm saying, that I'm
Yeah,
excelling in my professional life so that I can take care of her. You don't
amen.
take care of a woman by just having a large sum of money, because eventually, even if you don't never run out of money, what you will do is run out of things to spend it on that will, let's say, impress her. Okay, because eventually she will notice the shakiness in your life as well,
Yeah,
right? If there's anything I've learned about women, is they do not like inconsistency, and they really are afraid of, a shaky lifestyle. And if if and for instance, that girl out there that's looking for the thug right now, she's a very young, dumb, out of control woman that is looking for the bag and looking for whoever's going to go get it. So she's willing to go get the thug because he's willing to put his life on the line for it. And then one day she's going to smarten up, because she's going to have a kid. The first thing she's going to say is, "When are you going to get out the game? Because my baby can't eat if you're going to be in jail and stuff like that." I mean, eventually they smarten up too, right?
yeah.
Um, I mean, I
There's a
just
TV show about that. It's called
yeah.
Power.
Mhm. I feel sorry for our younger generations, man, because like they just been misled to think that the bag is the important part. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Short
my
sighted. Short
well
sighted.
it is absolutely short sighted, and it can come at any point in time. What can't come at any point in time is you finding time to go to school. right? Like you're not always going to have time to take an online class. You're not always going to have that time,
Mm-mm.
right?
But Brody, these kids are being led to death. These kids don't have a concept of a 5 year plan. These kids have no idea how to run 20 months of their life. Therefore, the next week, month, and it's never beyond the quarter is entirely their existence. I hate when people say born to live, right? Born to die, bred to live. But that's exactly what happens.
What sense does that make?
It doesn't make any sense. I That's my point. Is that the short sightedness is a quick way to the grave, and I don't know why we can't change our thinking. We have podcasts, vlogs, media, social media, newspapers, community groups, churches, organizations, schools, baby mama hoes, pimps, dope dealers. We got everything, pastors and pedophiles to try to help change the community and get us moving in a different direction, and hopefully that goes to a better direction. I'm done. I just had to say the thing because we don't think past the week, and I don't understand how we can continue to be so blind for for generations. How can you have generational curses? How is that possible to have a culture of generational curses? Breaks my heart.
The only reason we have a culture of generational curses is because we have convinced ourselves that the curse is a luxury.
Whew.
We have convinced ourselves that me, okay, and I
The
ain't talking about
struggle
me.
is a blessing.
But watch this. But watch this. Watch this. I bet you nobody will disagree with this. Watch this. So you have that woman, right? You got that single, strong black woman. She
Mm,
is she's strong, but I think she forgot where her strengths lie. She forgot that her strengths lie in her ability to be resilient. She forgot her strengths lie in her ability to love those that don't deserve it. She
mm,
forgot where her strength lies in her ability to uh to stand up for her young. However, now her strength lies in her ability to not need the one type of person that helps her to realize her actual true strengths, was our men, right? Since she doesn't need a man and she's spending her time doing it all by herself, trying to get to the bag, trying to be that strong black woman that we have painted the picture of only 2 years ago.
hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, she's trying to look and dress and sound and be the Beyonce of her crew. Well, she comes to the point where her son now is now out on the street. He probably got a charge or two, whatever the case may be, right? And she'll call it a generational curse now rather than blaming herself for causing that curse on her son, because it's her fault. It's not a curse, it's just repetition. If you consistently tell men that you don't need them and they walk away, you will find yourself without men and trying to raise one and wondering why this little nigga don't listen to me.
That, I think that's what the cause of it is, and I want to say it very plainly. Women felt women had to be tough to survive, and the fact that they survived prevented the next generation of men from being tough. Let me say that again. They took the opportunity of masculinity from men because they had to live it to survive the men that they created. Does that make sense?
I completely disagree, man. I think that's a
No.
cop. I think it's a cop out. I honestly think that it's an excuse.
Yeah.
My mom, my mom's life is proof that that's not true. And the reason I can say that, I sat there and watched her my entire life.
Yeah.
What my mom do is raise four kids on her own, and only two of them came from her, right? However, yes, you might call her strong, independent, right? You might call her that, right? But I would love for you to go find my mom now, right? Like go find her and
Damn.
go find out what those attributes of trying to be strong and be the man in your kids' lives led her to, right? I'm not going to tell you her current situation. What I
Me
will tell you.
either, but I agree.
Well, I'm just going to say it's not true. It's not true that eventually it's going to work out for you. Like, it didn't work, and what didn't happen is me sitting around wondering, what I mean, like why? It's funny. I never actually needed a man. I know for a fact that I did.
Yeah. But you
Right?
know
I
what? Neither one of us will concede that these women were failures because they certainly weren't. But we're talking about the byproducts
I
of the
will.
strength.
I would. I mean, see, that's where we. That's where I
Okay.
told you. You're not
Okay.
gonna like what I'm about to say.
No, I don't
It's
want.
you
I
are
don't
a
want you to go
failure.
there.
You
Say
are
that. I
if
agree.
your kid is on a pole right now, you have failed as a parent. If your
Ah,
child
not true.
been to prison, you have failed them as a
That's
parent.
not true. That's not
Yeah,
true.
you tell me why.
I
You
think
tell me.
I think that you can definitely fail to protect, but like you said,
Protect.
these- I think you can
Why
fail
do you
to
need to protect
protect
them?
or prevent them from
You can't.
making certain decisions, from making certain decisions. But once those decisions are made, that's where the individual
Can you
has
hear me?
to break trend.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Let's try to hear me out, okay? Because
Okay.
I'm not. I don't want to make it seem like I I just I just I don't want to hear your perspective, but
No.
I feel like mine isn't being received correctly. I what
Mm,
I'm simply trying to say is I don't believe I'm special as a parent. I believe I am very much average as a parent. I make so many mistakes as a parent, it is remarkable.
amen.
Here's the difference.
Mhm.
Junior will definitely listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
And he'll definitely listen to what I have to say faster and even more often and frequent than he listens to what Vicky has to say.
Hmm.
It's not because she's a woman.
No.
It's because I'm a man.
Hmm.
Okay? Because of the fact that physically he can't, maneuver around me. I gotta
You're
deal
so
with this.
brave to say that because it's so true. Why are
Yeah,
people
like
afraid to say that?
yeah, like he knows that like I'm gonna have to deal with this nigga physically if I don't just do what he say.
Amen.
And
Amen.
no kid live with that.
Did
No
you?
kid, no,
I didn't
no
have
kid.
my father growing up, so you already
I
know
didn't
that's a yeah. You already
I
know.
didn't either. I'll be honest with you all. I learned what it meant to look like and be a man around the age of 28, 29, 30.
Mm,
I had no idea. But I'm being honest with you guys. If you
yeah.
are in a relationship with your baby mama, and that's
Well,
the relationship, you are failing your children currently.
this is heavy for a lot of fellas to accept.
Currently.
I want you to hear this, fellas, but it's hard. It's
It's
hard.
a hard pill to swallow. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being 100 because I'm tired of people coming to me asking me how come my kid don't listen, or how come I'm having so many issues with my son. And the first thing I ask him is who he live with. Who he live with? Because I mean, if he
But
live
some
with
of
you,
these mamas are hard to deal with. How do you tame them?
marry her.
Yeah, I know. But if you know she's out here for the streets, she ain't doing right. She on the pole. How, why would? How can I
Is
tame?
that child's fault?
Wow, sir, you make a profound point. I love it. Yes, sir.
I mean, because I don't believe so. I don't believe the kid don't love his mama just as much as he did
That's the
yesterday.
way
Just
my math be mathing, bro. That's what my math be mathing. Yes, sir. Yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
I
you
honestly,
turn that hoe into a housewife.
what choice you got? I mean, because that's what I'm saying. Like I know a guy. I know a guy when I was in the army. You know what I'm saying? He made the mistake of marrying a stripper. It really happened. Now I don't know if they still together, but what I will say is this. What I will say is this. You can fall in love with any human being. Question is if you're going to fall in love with that human being all the way, because people got to understand, love is a choice, right? 4 or 5 generations ago, they weren't out looking for they
Oh,
soulmate. because daddy brought him home. You know what I mean? Like he brought him home and said, "Hey, this is going to be your husband." And you know what she said? What do I get to take with me, Dad? Because I just need to know. I mean, do I get to take this portion of the stove, or you know what I mean? Am I just taking these pots? You know
Right.
why? Because quite honestly, in this time, men had a clear understanding that their daughters were so important to the future of our human race that I need to make sure that she ends up in hands.
Yeah.
Right? I need to make sure she ends up in hands. Now, eventually, people smarten up, and those hands had to become qualified, right?
Yeah.
But we've left that alone. We've left that idea alone that we just want to put our daughters in qualified hands so that we can continue our race of people. But now we just want to make sure that he got the bag. Nigga, I don't care how much money you got. I need to
Well,
make sure. I
that
want you willing to work.
but
I
the
want you.
bag comes with qualifications, and I think that that's a really interesting point you make, because these boys that make money, they don't want anybody. Thankfully, luckily, they don't want anybody's daughter usually. So it's just like you said, morals. When they get her pregnant, it's a moralistic situation because now this man is confronting it and altering his life, hopefully for the moral positive.
You would think that, right? But I mean,
You would
I
hope.
was even in my my relationship, my marriage that has been going on for now for 16 straight years. You know how long it took me to learn that? You know how many years of my marriage was wasted because all I was doing was just, just trying to get paid, or all I was trying to do was just trying to, do my thing, or whatever the case may be. Like, people have gotten to the point where we're dumber than we look. I
We
mean,
are much dumber than we
we're
look.
dumber than we look. I mean, like we're dumber than VCI. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But that's just the fallibility of the flesh.
Well, no, that's true to an extent. But see, but I did preference this by saying that there's plenty of things I would rather be doing right now, right? However, when you smarten up and decide, not even decide, you realize what's important, right? And you start to take hold and control of yourself so that you can make those things that are important last longer and be more fruitful. A lot of stuff in your life will end up stopping for no apparent reason. You'll just be like, oh man, I ain't did that in years. Dang, I forgot about that. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the last time I've been to a club. I cannot remember. I don't know. And I'm not talking about clubs like they're the only end all be all of bad things. But I
Sure.
mean, I'm just giving an example of something that a person spends 6 hours getting ready for. Right. Like you ever met a woman that uses a lot of makeup? Like I haven't. I don't think I've ever dated a woman that uses an overage of makeup, quite honestly.
I would
But
love to date a woman that knew how to wear makeup or had like a makeup presented type. But no one dates those women, huh?
like
No
my
one
wife
dates those women. You don't know what they actually look like.
don't. But what I do know, like my wife, I've seen her wear makeup maybe 6 times in our 15 years of being
Wow.
married,
Wow.
and they were all every one of those times were for some reason that most people would go out and spend $700-800 on the outfit. You know what I'm saying? We, I mean, yeah. So we'll stop at one of them makeup places in the mall, and I'll let her get herself done up for no apparent reason. But essentially, what I don't even remember where we were going. You know what I mean?
We were talking
Like,
about women that wear makeup and just kind of the presentation and how we present ourselves as these people. And you want to get a baby mama that is a wholesome woman, but we don't see a lot. Those women are not visible. You were just talking about the landscape of dating, and I think you were giving a juxtaposition of these hoes and a virtuous woman.
to an extent, I'm not trying to pick apart any type of women's group, or I don't have anything against women that wear makeup. What I'm simply saying is the amount of time that they put into just getting prepared for a night they won't remember, right? is extremely interesting. You know what I mean? They will not remember this night because of the fact that they're going to get to the point where they don't remember the night anyway. So I wonder, what persuades them to, put so much effort into it.
Hmm.
Me personally, if I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna remember tonight, I wear J's to the club every time. If I was a chick. See, have a good weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's different for them.
But
It's
the fact of the matter is the I would say the honest truth of it is that they do go there with the intent of finding someone that will take interest into them. So they, in their mind, want to look as presentable as possible. But if you knew the mind of men, you probably wouldn't have did that.
mm.
You probably wouldn't have.
I've
Because most
noticed
yeah,
that.
most men don't really don't take too well with women with too much makeup on.
But have you noticed women that like women and men that are committed to women don't like makeup? I've just noticed that for years, for probably 15 years. I used to, I don't know, I think it was Drake when he first came out with that ponytail and no makeup on line. Um, I think that made a lot of people feel really good about themselves. But I want to make sure that, you know, if you have buck teeth and imperfections in your skin and you're just not really that cute, we see that. So don't think that you're winning anything. Is there anything that you want to promote that you enjoy?
Uh, if anything, I would say this. From which one is it, micro or macro? Um,
Micro, small, macros, big.
there you go. Thank you. So from a macro standpoint, I would say this. As a country, we have to understand that there is a lot more to life than
Mm.
the bag.
Amen.
Because I guarantee you, and then God hears me. If you attempt, if you make it, I mean, any attempt to live correctly, then the bag is there. It's not going nowhere. And if all it's concerning you is doing what the rappers do, them niggas only do that until they old enough to get kicked off. Like think about it. Like, do you remember? Do? This is for people my age. Do you remember Jada Kiss? Like, do you remember
Really?
Jada Kiss? Do you remember Rough Riders?
Roof
Do you
lift
remember?
up. Yes.
Do
Yeah.
you remember? Do you remember? Or do you remember So Def? Do you remember
Do you
these?
remember the
The
locks? Do you
what?
remember Jermaine Dupri and Jay Z? Money don't mean a thing. Blueprint 2. What are you trying to get to? Because Machiavelli, what?
Yeah, they're making a lot of money. But the funny thing, I heard somebody say, they said the richer that Jay Z gets, the lesser rich he looks.
No,
And you
you
know
know, I
why?
told you
He said,
he ain't never took a loss.
no, 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 no. What? I mean, that's true, but beside the point. Fact of the matter is, rich people know they're rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People that have money know they have money.
Yeah.
So my wife isn't looking for a new Louis bag because she realizes that, I mean, one, that purse that the Louis bags that she got, they do the same thing the other purses do.
Ain't nothing
So they,
changed.
they don't necessarily change her perspective on life. They just change the amount she has in her pocketbook, right? But
Right.
if the most important thing to my wife is her family, I would think that she would be trying to spend as much money on her family than she would on how she looks when she walks outside. But considering my wife don't go out because the most important things of her life are at home, you see how much money she gets to save? So she got more money than the fools out there going to Prada every weekend to get a new purse or get a new pair of heels. She sits there and looks at them like complete fools, bro. Like, I mean, and my wife love heels. She love them. She love new purses. She love new jackets. But
But you don't
those don't.
understand.
That's the type. That's yeah. It just
With
huh?
women, you don't understand. With women, Your wife is the one that's winning because the rest of them are pretending. And
You
your wife
breaking up a lot, bro.
probably your wife is the one that's winning, the rest of these hoes pretending.
Well, I mean, she's not in competition with him.
No.
That's another thing. That's another thing that women don't seem to realize. Like, you're not necessarily in competition with anybody. And the reason is because you haven't picked, or you haven't settled in, or keyed
I don't
in on the type,
about
the
ugly women.
specific man that you are in search for. I
I
mean,
don't like
I think if a
women.
woman is in, if you're in search for the, let's say, I don't know, the CEO of that company, well, you don't need to spend a lot of time on Twitter. You don't need to spend a lot of time on Instagram because you're impressing a bunch of people that aren't that one guy. Because he's not watching. He's just not. Successful men don't have a lot of time to watch chicks that ain't doing nothing with themselves. And we don't necessarily care. Oh, this is another thing that women need to know. Men don't care how much money you have in your pocket. We don't care what kind of career. We don't care what kind of career you got. The only time we do care about that sort of thing is if we want to just be career single men. If we want to be career single men like the man I'm dealing with right now over this thing, then you won't have a problem with trying to make sure that she got as much money as you because you ain't got to spend no money on her. Because money matters in this relationship. However, in real relationships, that those that are trying to stick with the one that they got, the money tends to be on the back burner of things that we care about because, hell, we do both got jobs. You know
Right.
what I mean?
But
As
women
long
aren't
as the
happy
bills are
until they
being paid.
spend money is the weird thing. Women have to start spending money on a man to find happiness. I think that is something we don't talk about enough in society because a
What do
woman
you mean
can't
when you
be
say that?
woman's not gonna be invested in you unless she spends money. She's not gonna truly be there until she's invested, and she can't be committed until she's invested, committed, interested, and probably satisfied. That's the difference between men and women. Those four
So
things.
here's the thing, ladies. I'm going to explain to you your worth, okay? And I'm going to promise you it has nothing to do with the position you hold in your company. That is not where your worth lies. It doesn't lie in how much money you made today. It
Mhm.
doesn't lie in how much your bags are worth, your shoes are worth, your clothes are worth. It doesn't even lie in the type of dudes that you are with. It lies in your ability to keep yourself protected until you find the man that you want to give all of you to. Once you have
Mm.
given yourself to a one man and one man particularly, you have become more valuable than every other chick on the street because now you are with somebody that finds you valuable. And when something is now deemed valuable, other people find it valuable.
Amen.
But until then, you are just a hole that they're either trying to insert or trying to fill. If I was a woman, I would be somebody that you were trying to fill the holes in my life, right? Not
I'm
necessarily
so
trying to
proud
fill
of
the
you.
holes in my body, because I mean it's not necessary. I mean the reason, I mean, and this may be coming from my Christian perspective, but I'll say this, and it's going to make a lot of men mad, but it's
Mm.
also going to make a lot of females mad these days too,
Hmm.
because honestly, females are out there counting their body count.
Yeah, they are.
You're losing your value as a person, let
Every time.
alone as a woman, but definitely as a woman. Because if a man knows that you slept with two plus men, you have
Discount.
lost the value in his eye.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not a virgin, that's that. I guarantee you, a man will never tell you this. They will never tell you this. They will
Let me
lie
say
to you.
something on that.
They
That is
will. Go
so
ahead. Go.
true. I want to be the most immature man in the room and say that. That is how men think. I don't think that I really put value on that, but it's a reality of the psychology of the modern man, and there's not enough credence, acceptance given to this fact. Please continue.
Yeah, I would say I guarantee you, and God hears me. I bet you won't find one man to disagree. If you put you, the woman that got 17 dudes that she slept with in a room, put all the money in her pocket that you possibly can, but don't tell anybody that it's in there. walk
Mm.
one man into the room, and then walk another person into the room that happens to be female. Let her wear regular clothes, and just her. The only thing that we know about her is she's a virgin. So all we know about you is that you got nice clothes on and that you got 15 bodies on your hand. All we know about her is she's a virgin. You're not going home with him. You're not. Because we don't want what all men have had.
Let's
I
talk a
don't care
little
how
bit
much
more
money you
about
have.
that before we close, because we are coming to that point. It's not like women are Toyota Corollas. I'm not saying that you got 100 million miles on you. What I'm saying is the experience is it's less special because of the amount of men and the amount of time that you've been alive that have penetrated you. Stop playing.
Say that one more
How many
time.
niggas were special before me? Let me say it again. I was saying that women aren't Toyota Corollas. Women are people. It's just that at the end of the day, in reality, since the beginning of time, I think that men have felt the same way. Hopefully, men in this culture, I think men in this culture are much more lax than they were in the generations before, but women become less special based on the amount of men that have penetrated them. Once so many men have penetrated a woman in so many amount of years, it does psychologically diminish a woman's value.
Because a man is not, and the fact of the matter is, a woman's value is not created externally. It's
Mhm.
already there. She's born with her value.
But they're gonna say, "I like sex." It's like, yeah, we all
Well,
do,
then find a man that you can stick with.
right? It's like I'm not Magic Johnson out here because you know what I mean. Like I'm a human being because I have standards because I have more.
Right. And I mean, and I don't fault a woman me personally, I'm not one of those guys that say that you shouldn't go out looking for a guy that is making 70, 80K or better. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what kind of financial goals you have for your family, so to speak. So if you're looking for a man that's more driven, by all means, look for men that's more driven. That doesn't mean give yourself up to men that are driven until you find one that's willing to stick around with your ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't that's not the hill you should have to climb in order for a man to stay with you. I guarantee you, if you're looking for a man that make 200K a year, if you tell him that nobody's ever touched you, he won't look past you in many cases if you look good enough. Like, I mean, we don't care. We yes. I mean, it doesn't matter if a woman was working at Burger King and put her pretty head out that window. I'm gonna have something to say to her
Or Home Depot. But
because
listen,
she
it's
is.
because the
It
value
don't
of men
matter.
has been diminished. Men aren't as valuable as they were before for women to even value their purity, and that's the saddest part of it all. We need to value people. We need to value each other because this life experience is a limited one. Are there any social medias, companies, projects, or people that you'd like to promote before we close out?
Nah, my brother, you know me. I'm real, man. I don't deal with social media.
Well, I told you I'm happy, man. I did some shows at Funky Picnic, Uncle Julio's. I'm trying to just get my life back together because I've been sick for so long. But I'm excited about that. And I'm promoting that, man. Come message your boy Dallas, Texas. You might catch me doing commentary on TMZ, feeling much better, feeling alive, realizing who it is that's real and fake. And I just love life every day. I'm glad I can say that. That's all I got. Um, we're gonna do this again soon.
All right, there, homie. Love you. Have a good one.
Peace.